Ready to go. TCU in the purple, Texas in the white, and Texas moving left to right across your screen. The number 7 team in the country, and immediately putting it in the hands of Madison Booker, who has moved to the point guard spot, as Jada mentioned, thanks to the injury to All-American Rory Harmon.
We're going to see TCU start here in a 1-2-2. That's a defense that they're not super familiar with. They've been in a man, especially with the injuries, and got their first turnover.
They did, as Roberson came out with the steal. Victoria Flores running the point with Jaden Owens going down due to injury. Both these teams missing a major cog at point guard. TCU, a really good outside shooting team, and an initial offering by Agnes Eminopu rims out.
Like we talked about in the open, they shoot 37.5% from the three, and that's really what's been keeping them in games. They make a couple more, some of those losses would turn into wins here.
Yeah, TCU shoots a lot of threes. A lot of their points come from three. For Texas, almost none of their points come from three. Good denial as Aaliyah Moore goes baseline and knock it out by Tara Manamala-Unya.
And I think if TCU, really starts with the energy like they have thus far on the defensive end and get out in transition, that'll help combat some of the size difference that they have with Texas.
Booker at 6'1", can see over the defense on the entry. Holle pops it inside. Taylor Jones at 6'4", misses. Roberson got really big inside against her.
She's doing such a good job on the boards, on both offensive and defensive side.
See the TCU starting five: Manamala-Unya, Jovanovic, Eminopu, along with Roberson and Victoria Flores at the point guard spot. Only 10 to shoot for Flores and company, guarded by the much bigger Booker. Eminopu, another look at three. This one off the back rim. TCU 0 for 2. The early going from deep. Longhorns, though, one of the best offensive teams in the country this season, 8th in the nation in scoring, almost 84 points a game, and top 10 in field goal percentage as well. It's a three by Gonzalez out of the corner. That falls off. Both teams cold to start the game, and Texas head coach Vic Schaefer told us after 2 huge wins over ranked opponents, he gave the girls a couple days off, and it felt like a long time for him as a head coach.
Yeah, for sure. You want to really get back at it and keep that momentum. And, he said they haven't had great practices before this game. So, really, it's going to be interesting to see how they come out thus far.
Another great look. This time, Roberson knocks down the triple, and the Horned Frogs strike first.
And she stepped up into such a pivotal role for TCU. She was coming off the bench, that 6th man. Now she's one of the go-tos here in this new lineup and just getting it done on both ends. Really
stretched the floor. Now Booker, short corner, gets Texas on the board. She has been outstanding this season. You could see her being a 4-time All-American. Flores out of the corner. Around and off on the three, but Agnes Eminopu, who never quits on a play. Eminopu and Roberson have to play basically the whole way inside for TCU against this oversized Texas team. An offensive rebound and stick back by Jones. No, but she gets a second chance. And Texas is an outstanding rebounding team. Agnes Eminopu out to Manamala-Unya and can't stop her drive.
Agnes is going to have to be careful with those fouls. She doesn't take them home, each and every game. But against, Texas, and especially with their size and her ability to really put pressure and play defense, they're going to need her on the floor.
Just not making shots. Eminopu with only 8 to shoot it. Takes it inside. Booker blocks the shot.
Really good job there by Booker.
Only 5 to shoot it. Manamala-Unya looking for a good shot. In the pick and roll, knocked away and stolen by Amina Muhammad as a really long wingspan.
And Texas is really good on the defensive end. They're able to use their size and get their hands in those passing lanes like you'll see right there.
That's Roberson's first foul as Taylor Jones. The second foul on the Horned Frogs. And the first foul on Roberson. Taylor Jones leading the team in scoring until Madison Booker's recent resurgence.
She just has so much size. She stands at 6'4", and works hard in the paint for her shots. You'll see she's trying to get those second and third opportunities on the little bunny shots. So, just able to use her size as an advantage.
Can TCU get it going, especially from deep? They're only 1 of 8 from outside in this game. Eminopu to Roberson. This 5-out motion offense, TCU picked it up after all the injuries. Jovanovic, good ball fake. Down the baseline with the shot blocker there. Agnes Emanopu is now 0 of 4 from deep.
And I think one thing, TCU is getting good shots. They're getting shots out of their offense and they're open. They're just not knocking them down.
First foul on Texas. It's offensive.
Offensive foul. It's the second offensive foul here in this game, just on that backside defense. But I think when you're not making those shots, they're expecting you to take them. TCU's got to have some people going to the offensive glass as well as cutting to try to get those backdoor cuts since they're expecting you to shoot those open three-pointers.
That is the burst on Taylor Jones. Meanwhile, TCU 0 of their last 8 from the field and hasn't scored in 4.5 minutes. It's equal to Texas' 7-0 run. This is a TCU team that has not struggled to score this year, and it's actually their scoring that's kept them in games, even as they've been shorthanded, as you've mentioned.
It looks like they're second-guessing themselves, especially because the three isn't falling for them.
And Harris finally gets one to go down. Sydney Harris has been red hot from outside.
For sure. They're still within one here against Texas.
Booker trying to fill it up baseline. Muhammad at 6'4", the offensive rebound. So tough inside. Great rotation. Holle in the corner. Gets past Jovanovic, pulls up and nails a jumper.
Holly's just been, a constant for Texas and whatever role that they need her to be.
Tunnel right down the middle of the lane. 2 to shoot. Jovanovic sees it. Desperation heave. Well short, but it did hit the rim. Clack after it. Tie ball. And it is going to go to Texas. 3-second difference. Game clock to shot clock. Slow start offensively for both teams. When is it going to open up? Booker back running the point. Gonzalez lobs it inside. Great look to Muhammad for the easy finish.
That's just a beautiful pass right there. Just figuring out exactly where that opening is at that bottom of the zone. Really good finish.
5-point lead for Texas. Final 4 seconds of the first quarter. Flores behind the back. Pull up. No. Emanopu, that's late. And at the end of one, a defensive battle. And Texas as a team has the 3rd best scoring margin in the country, averaging 26-point blowouts every single time out. Texas 21-3 this season overall. TCU at 15-7 with a couple forfeits in conference play as well. That's why the conference mark is 2-9. Clack inside. Couldn't shoot it. Harris on the way to the cup. Contact with no call, and the rebound by Holle. Gonzalez, nice feed over the top. Gaston. And Emanopu.
And that's something that they can't have and something that they preach to her. You've got to be on the floor, and you can't do that if you're in foul trouble.
Mark Campbell says it's something that we've talked to her about all season long, but she's just such an aggressive player, and you cannot take her off the floor. TCU absolutely has to have her in a 5-second count. That is the 4th turnover on TCU.
And then, those 5-second calls, getting open, is something about just angles. You've got to get some contact on your defensive player and then to find the angle.
Texas has picked up the pressure. Holle wide open from the corner. Comes up short on the 3. Muhammad, just too much muscle and so long to kiss it back home.
And she just rose up and grabbed that. Such a beautiful.
Texas is just so good defensively. Jovanovic spins on Booker, can't hit. And that's just a case where size affects the shot. Booker up the floor herself. Pass down low and a great finish for DeYona Gaston, the senior from Pearland.
And so I think that's what, Booker's ability as a forward to step into a Big 12 program and become the point guard, become the engine and the leader on the floor. You see right there the vision that she had to find DeYona Gaston wide open under the basket is something that's, immeasurable.
Roberson for 3, and you can't give her that much room. TCU finally back on the board.
And if you get her going, that's how they really get back into the game.
Holle trying to find Gaston inside, but Gaston couldn't get 2 hands on it. Turnover on Texas, taking down number 3 K-State. Oh, there goes Vic Schaefer's jacket there. We know the game's on now. And then taking down Baylor at Baylor as well by 12, and the freshman leading the way is just remarkable.
I mean, to come in as a freshman, there's such a change in pace that you have to get used to. She has the body, for the Big 12, and just being able to come in and lead this team has been remarkable.
Agnes Emanopu going to the reverse for 2.
Like you said, the jacket came off. The game is on now. TCU finally able to get some points on the board here. 3.5 minutes into the second quarter.
Back to a 5-point game. That's where we were at the end of one. Booker not a 3-point shooter. Gonzalez is and rains one in from straight on. Especially with the short bench, it seems like the rhythm, the flow to this game favors TCU so far. Good job by Gonzalez to stay with it. And this is out of bounds, last touched by TCU.
The whistle is blown, and so that's just a little difference in point guards that you see, and it's a learning experience.
Texas has been through some bumps this year, losing their All-American point guard. Wow, what a take by Muhammad. She did not look open, but fights up through the traffic to score. Amina Muhammad has 6.
And she's so aggressive and willing to battle. Coach said she's the most improved. She went from 3.9 to 7.5 points per game, and so just really finding herself success on the floor.
Successful here early, finding some rare offense for Texas. Agnes Emanopu trying to hit one from 3, but comes up short. She had a tough game from outside at OU, where she went 1 of 6. Jones wide open inside. TCU trying to get some movement on their offense. It's been fairly stagnant by their standards. Emanopu knows she just has to keep shooting and gets the friendly roll.
You've got to keep shooting in order for it to go in, and that's what she does. It's been the same play. She missed 3 in that same exact spot, I believe, and able to knock that one down.
TCU's crowd rising. Great throng of Longhorn fans here, too. Texas by 9. Booker inside. Muhammad. Contact, and Roberson is called for the foul. No, rather it is going to be Victoria Flores on the foul. That is her first.
And their spacing is really good as well, making TCU cover a lot of ground.
40 minutes down the road. Couldn't hit either free throw, however, and TCU there for the board. You know, the door's been open here for TCU in the first half, though. Texas has not been able to run away. Can TCU step through it? All it takes is a couple threes. Emanopu again online, but it rims out.
And Texas hasn't played, to their ability here thus far. And so TCU's got to take advantage of that.
That's a foul on Muhammad. Really, Texas won that game thanks to this disparity at the free throw line. They went to the free throw line 32 times and hit 24 shots. Only 8 to shoot. Manumala Unia. Drives left. Agnes Emanopu rings home a 3.
And that saved them right there, because every time a TCU player gets the ball, they're looking around.
Gonzalez to the corner. Booker put on the line. Her long 2 doesn't go. Manumala Unia thinks about pushing, but she'll live to fight another day. TCU only down by 2 possessions.
Again, controlling the pace is going to be a key to the game when we talk to Mark Campbell.
Jovanovic. Oh, what a take, and one. Got Winintanda in the air. An intimidating guard at 6'2" to try to go over. But Jovanovic.
Looks like they're calling flat there. It's going to be a pick and roll for Madison Booker.
Booker, clack. That's a foul that TCU had to give, and a very smart foul by the Horned Frogs.
Had a hamstring that's kind of been bothering her, and right now she's just kind of walking tenderly there, hoping that she's okay.
TCU has one more foul to give. Booker, three-pointer, good if it goes. No. And at the end of the second quarter, TCU closes the half on a 9-0 run over the final 4 minutes. Vic Schaefer, all he can do is, this is nothing new, tight conference games, but this is what conference action is all about. Low-scoring defensive action. Texas starts with the ball in the second half after shooting just 33% from the field. Booker, the freshman, inside, but her pass hits the rim and ricochets right to Aaliyah Moore for her first 2.
Yeah, Aaliyah Moore only played about 5 minutes in the first half, which we were surprised about. But, it might be due to an injury, but able to get on the board there and make a difference for Texas so far.
Flores called for the travel, and the 10th giveaway by TCU. Again, they turned it over 23 times the first time the two teams got together. But TCU outscored Texas 14-12 in the second quarter. Why were they better offensively in the second?
And I think they were less hesitant, not really sure of themselves and kind of how Texas was playing thus far. And so I think they kind of settled in.
Holle with a big offensive rebound, finding the ball on the backside, and she is fouled.
Her recruiting class, and he said that she's what is good about college basketball. She comes in and day out and works, and it's just very consistent. And so that's exactly what you want from a player.
Absolutely dependable. Always knows what he's going to get from Shay Holle. A 2-for-2 trip this time. And Texas advances their lead to 7, scoring the first 4 points of the second half. TCU, a hot shooting outside team. Has hit 10 threes 12 times this season. And there's another one, Victoria Flores. If she has time and space, she can hit.
Again, in rhythm, just being able to get herself set and knock those down. TCU had lots of good open opportunities, and they just weren't able to hit them in the first half. If they start hitting those, this is really a game.
6 of 16 from outside for TCU. That's where most of their points are coming from. Reverse it to Booker, into the lane. Fadeaway jump shot, so pure for Madison Booker.
But that's what she does, all day, every day with her eyes closed, being able to get to that nail.
Amina Muhammad, another 3, and she is locked in now. Her third 3 of the afternoon.
Is working that motion offense and taking advantage of those, like you said, that third possession that they're able to get. Texas
Longhorns bunch called for a travel. Horned Frogs lost 20 straight games against ranked teams. Jovanovic, 3 to shoot. Jovanovic is blocked, but it comes outside to Amina Muhammad. This is going to keep going because it went off the rim. Flores dumps it inside. Roberson is fouled. What action by the Horned Frogs. Desperation.
I like TCU's effort and energy that they've come out with from halftime. Because the past couple of games, the third quarter has been where they've lost games. And so being able to come out and really throw the first punch here in this second half has been good for them.
Roberson, the 60% foul shooter. 1 of 2 trip. Longhorns trying to get out of an offensive slump. Booker dribbling to that nail area again, and her fadeaway rolls down.
TCU's done a really good job of sticking to their game plan, playing at the pace that they want to play and not being rushed.
Roberson around and off, but a great look for the forward. The longer TCU hangs around against the number 7 Texas Longhorns, the more they believe. Outside to Booker, makes the extra pass to Holle. 11 to shoot, good spin move, Moore, count it, and 1 for Aaliyah Moore.
And we'll take a look at it again. A beautiful spin move there off of Amina Muhammad, who was able to draw the foul and get herself a 3-point chance opportunity.
And Agnes Amina Muhammad, who has rarely come off the floor in this game, does have to come to the bench with her 3rd foul. The second Horned Frog with 3 fouls. The other is Jade Clack. Aaliyah Moore misses on the foul shot. Rebound knocked out to the corner. It's last touched by TCU. And another chance for Texas.
And Gaston right there just giving a little bit of extra effort.
Texas just has such a deep roster. Mark Campbell calling them the most talented team in the league. And when you look at their 4-5 spot, they go 2 to 3 deep at both those places. Gonzalez into the lane. Nice bucket for Shaylee Gonzalez on the run. With Roberson in the pick and roll. Nowhere to go with it. Harris late in the shot clock. The drive, the kiss doesn't go. Long rebound. Gonzalez has it for Texas. Trailing 3 by Booker. Bangs it down. It's an 11-point lead for the Longhorns. And TCU trying to get back into it. They can do it in a hurry thanks to their outside shooting. This one's off by Harris.
TCU before that shot was shooting 22% in the third quarter, looking a lot like the first quarter, that they had. And meanwhile, Texas has gotten 8 points in the paint. 8 out of their 15 points were in the paint.
And Moore 6 points, leading Texas in this quarter and helping Texas take their largest lead at 13. Manumalaunya has a lane but loses it to the ground. Moore wants it tied up, and it is in the possession arrow in favor of UT. TCU trying to figure out a way to get back in this game. But there's a reason that Texas, even though they're not playing their best game in this one, is number 7 in the country. They're just so deep and solid.
And one thing we talked about with Coach Schaefer, I'm sure he's not surprised by how they're playing today, because he said their practices, he's kind of been unimpressed with those and how they've come out. And so this is not really surprising how they've come out in this game.
Great job to hit Gaston on the short corner. And now Texas moving it against the zone much better in the second half.
Yeah, they're figuring it out and being able to just knock down shots.
Jovanovic has it poked away, has it back. Harris wide open for 3 off the scramble. No, Emanopu goes hard to the ground. And another tie ball. This time the possession goes to TCU off the hustle. And TCU needs effort plays like that to get back in. Skip pass over the top, Jovanovic. Inside, Roberson in the land of the trees, and she is fouled. Shaylee Gonzalez, the one to pick it up. And Roberson has 8 in this one.
And, last year she had a very different role than she has this year. And, again, from the beginning of the season to now, what her role has been, they call on her each and every game on both sides of the floor, which they didn't necessarily have to. And she's been stepping up. Coach Mark Campbell's really impressed with her.
Longhorns now running some motion offense. Holle, the handoff to Aaliyah Moore. Up and under against Agnes Emanopu. And Aaliyah Moore showing why she's one of the most talented. 2-time Gatorade Player of the Year in Oklahoma. A steal by Texas. And they've already got this game by the throat, looking for more. Wide open look from the corner. Shay Holle says hello. Texas by 19.
And just this quarter alone, this is who Texas is. They're getting more back to what they, normally play like.
And outscoring TCU 24-8 in the quarter, make it 24-10 off the Jovanovic take.
And TCU finds a lot of success when they put defenders on their hip and get downhill. And so that's something that they haven't really been pressing this game.
Holle off the glass and no, but fouled by Sydney Harris.
Drawing the foul against Harris.
Meanwhile, you'll see Booker come back in, freshman phenom, after going to the locker room for some treatment. Holle hits both foul shots. She's up to 9, but 8 of them in this quarter as Texas scored only 23 in the first half. They've got 25 in the quarter to blow it open. Does TCU have a final run? Final shot of the third quarter. TCU could take it if they want it. Agnes Emanopu. Extra pass. 3 to shoot. Floater. Jovanovic. It's good at the end of the quarter. A little spark of life for the TCU Horned Frogs. Dominant third quarter effort to take control. 49-32. John Little back alongside Jada Curtis. And Texas was incredibly hot in that third quarter.
Yeah, they shot 83%, in the third quarter alone. And had more points than they did in the first half together. And that's something that, as a defensive, you can't have if you want to try to take down number 7 ranked Texas.
Yeah, and now off a rare miss, Gisella Maul bumps in there, has the offensive rebound, so another chance for Moore and company. And instead, it's the 4th foul on Agnes Emanopu and first team foul of the fourth quarter.
She's got to be smart here, Maybe now is the time that you kind of draw that aggressiveness back on the defensive end to be able to play 9.5 more minutes.
Moore almost picks up an and 1. Still trying to get comfortable after the ACL injury last year. She started 7 straight, and she's had double figures in 7 straight.
And I watched an interview of her last game. She said she's still working on that lateral movement. TCU is trying to figure out this 5-out offense.
Manumalaunya, the 3 doesn't go, but Roberson has the rebound. Harris underneath, twirls and hits.
Just the patience there to see exactly where the defenders were. Was able to spin back and get away from the defenders to finish that.
TCU 7 second chance points, but Texas with a dozen. Long hill to climb for TCU, down by 16. Still haven't seen Madison Booker back since she went to the bench with injury, and off the tap back, DeYona Gaston bangs one in.
DeYona Gaston has been really good in this game for Texas.
Good defense by Gonzalez, forces the turnover, long home run feed, and Shay Holle is on the other end.
Coach Vic Schaefer's fired up there that their defense is turning into offense for them, and they're just really getting back to themselves.
This undermanned TCU bunch just ran out of gas at OU after making it a game. Maybe they've run out of gas today as well. Roberson says not so fast off the feed from Flores.
She's been the one constant for TCU throughout this stretch of the season, and just giving the effort and energy on both ends of the floor. She's having to guard Texas's fives and centers who, are out.
As Shay Holle reigns in a three.
And I think it's not that hard because, you have such great players who want to just get out on the floor.
She's in double figures for her 5th straight game now. And she has just blossomed in this role. Led San Antonio Clark to the state semis, where they lost actually to DeSoto and Amina Muhammad's team. Although Texas and OU lead the league next year, you get 4 new teams in the league that will make the league even deeper. What a challenge it's going to be on a nightly basis. Agnes Eminopu really fought hard in this one. Back out to Clack, her dad, a former Longhorn. Now Jovanovic dips inside, comes up short.
Yeah, Shay Holle, 11 points right now. Again, the consistency that Coach Schaefer talked about, that she's had throughout the season, throughout her time at Texas, as well as we're seeing that today.
Vic Schaefer just loves the way she plays. A 1 of 2 trip for Uni Jovanovic, who has 8 points. Texas has not had to bring Madison Booker back in the game. She did rejoin the team on the bench as the pull-up goes down. And you start to think you're probably going to get an opportunity to see the TCU walk-ons in this game with the way it's going. Those 4 walk-ons that joined the team about 2 weeks ago after the team had to cancel 2 games because they were down to 6 healthy players, as Harris out of the left corner nails a 3. Texas polishing off a big win as Booker pulls up, and she is no worse for wear. Up and ready to check in for TCU, Sarah Sylvester. TCU calls timeout. It's their final timeout. It's a full timeout as Sarah Sylvester, the sophomore from Livonia, Michigan. And then you've got Micaiah Moore on the inbound right now, and Moore out of Brownsboro, Texas, in East Texas. She won a state championship back in 2022. Nice take by Jovanovic, but a better block by Wenentanda.
And her size right there, 6'2", over Jovanovic, just able to get her hands up without fouling and get a beautiful block.
So Jovanovic is the lone scholarship player on the floor right now for TCU, and it's the first chance to play at home for 3 of these walk-ons.
One thing about these walk-ons and the logistics of everything is that, especially for Sarah Sylvester, she hasn't been able to change her schedule to be able to come to practice because right now her schedule is set up for the volleyball. And so luckily the other 3 were able to change their schedule so they can come into practice. Coach Mark Campbell right now is drawing up a defense so they can just know somewhat of what to do since they haven't been able to collectively be in practice together.
Jovanovic now in double figures. Now, there's so much that goes into this story, and it made it such a feel-good story to pick up the win over UCF, a game in which Sylvester played a minute at the end of the 3rd quarter as well. Short corner jumper down from Wenentanda. She averages 5 a game. That's her first 2. Jovanovic running the point here. We'll see how she gets the other walk-ons involved. Looking for a high screen from Sylvester. Jovanovic doesn't find her. Instead, Hamlin to Sylvester in the corner. Only 8 to shoot. Will Moore have to put it up? Hamlin out to Sylvester. Sylvester closed on, leans in, no shot, a travel. Does not count for Sarah Sylvester.
And these players have such good high school experience, but they're not necessarily Big 12 college level athletes. And so being able to just come in here and just provide some relief is good for the TCU women's basketball team.
Well, the biggest thing is trying to get into basketball shape. Yeah, sure, you can be lean and, in the prime of your life, but it's a different thing to be in basketball shape. Aaliyah Moore comes out with a steal, but she has her pocket picked by Codio. Man, this place was ready to erupt if Aaliyah Moore was able to take that one to the rack.
Oh, my goodness. It would have been such a good thing for her, for sure.
But the Texas Longhorns take control in the third quarter and use a dominant second half to pick up their fourth straight win. And the rivalry between Texas and TCU in the Big 12 in the regular season is done for now, as the Texas Longhorns knock off the TCU Horned Frogs.